Hey, this is Carolina here and welcome to episode 1 of Tea with Carolina. I love tea and I love green tea especially, and caffeine-free infusions. That's what I drink the most, so I'm not addicted. Anyway, today I wanted to talk about procrastination. And why did I want to talk about it? Because I do it a lot, so I don't want you to feel too bad about it. I just spent the last 30 minutes organizing my old Pokemon cards. Instead of doing what? Instead of getting on the computer and getting some work done. So I spent 30 minutes organizing my old Pokemon cards that I've had since I was 15 years old, a long time ago. And what happened? I organized all of the not so special ones in that binder and all of the more special ones in this little deck box. Now, here's what happened to me just now. I've had these cards, like I said, since I was 15. This is the year 2000, between 1999 and 2000. And I've sold a few through the years. I used to have, if you know anything about Pokemon cards, I used to have a few rare ones. Like I had a Charizard holographic, which is not worth that much if it's not first edition. I had the regular one, it was not first edition, but it was still worth some money. And I sold it like 8 years ago, and I really regret it because if I had kept it until now, I could have gotten probably 3 times the money I got. Anyway, my point here, my friend, is I spent a lot of time with this, time that I was supposed to spend doing some work that I have pending. And here's what happened, here's my punishment. After I finished organizing my cards, and I was like, oh, I'm so happy I got all my cards organized, oh my god. I went to pick up the camera, and I said, I'm gonna share something because I just spent half an hour procrastinating on something really silly. And I came back to this room, and I stepped on the deck. Like you will see here, there's a crack now. You see that crack? That wasn't there. I accidentally stepped on it. And I wanted to sell this deck box because I figured this is probably more valuable than many of the cards in there, because this is really special. They don't make these anymore probably. And now I cannot sell it anymore. I cannot flip it anymore. So the moment that happened, I thought, wow, that is my punishment for procrastinating. Now, I wanted to make a point with that, but here's the thing. Don't think that every time you're doing something that is not related to your goals is necessarily procrastinating. One of the reasons I organized those cards was, number one, yes, I wanted to procrastinate. Number two, I want to flip them, or at least attempt at flipping them. Attempt to flip them. But if you earn your downtime, which means if you hustle in the morning, you get up early, you complete your goals for the day, and then you want to go ahead and play with your Pokemon cards, that's awesome, you've earned it. But if you do like I sometimes do, where instead of tackling the goals for the day, you delay them and you procrastinate and you do silly things like organizing your old Pokemon cards, that's probably called procrastination. And here's the thing, just be honest with yourself and it's totally fine. Don't feel bad about it, don't necessarily feel awful about it. Look at it for what it is, and then make it a point to change that habit. I read this book some time ago. Guys, this is probably one of the most important books written by Napoleon Hill, after Think and Grow Rich, of course. Outwitting the Devil. This book is incredible, and I'm gonna read it again because it's just so incredibly valuable. Like, whenever I was reading it, I would like highlight with a pencil. I don't know if you can see, but I highlighted a bunch of stuff inside the book because I thought it was just incredible. Like the insights that you get about why human beings are the way that they are priceless. And why am I bringing this up when I'm talking about procrastination? Because procrastination is the way the devil has of controlling us. Now in here they call it drifting. Drifting is when we let our mind drift, right? By watching television and not necessarily something that is going to add any value to us, by playing with things that are nonsensical from the point of view that, you know, if you look at it from the big picture, by basically wasting our time. That is what we do for the most part when we procrastinate. Now let me read this to you. Let me tell you what they say drifting is according to this book. A drifter is one who permits himself to be influenced and controlled by circumstances outside of his own mind. That's what you do when you procrastinate a lot of times. But also, when you let yourself go with the flow instead of grabbing the, what do you call this thing? When you're on a boat and you have to row your boat with the sticks. Someone help me and tell me what it is. So when we drift, this is what we do. We let the outside circumstances control us instead of us going ahead and being goal-oriented and doing what we need to do. Now, this video is not intended to be a review of this book because honestly I need to read it again, but that was the #1 message that stuck with me. And when I found myself going through these Pokemon cards and I said, okay, let's do it, it reminded me of this book, of how the devil, and please don't take it literal, like the devil, it's not necessarily a creature with horns and fire. Just like God, I believe the devil is everywhere and God can be everywhere as well. Like, I also feel like it's just one entity with so many dimensions. But again, I wanted to talk to you about that today, and hopefully you enjoyed the first episode, and thank you for having some tea with me, and hopefully I'll come up with other topics for this series. Today's flavor of tea that I'm having is this one. It's called Brain Boost. For cognitive health, it's Japanese matcha, green tea, ginkgo, and blackcurrant. I got it at Whole Foods. There's no Whole Foods in Chile, but every time I go to the US, I go to Whole Foods and I stack up. I stock up. So that's it. That's the first episode of Tea with Carolina, and please let me know what you thought of it. Leave a comment below and tell me if you want to hear me talk about more random topics. Not necessarily random, but meaningful topics while I drink some tea. See you in the next video.